What's up, guys? We're back, and today I have my Crate G600XL head that I've owned for over 25 years. And today we're gonna see if this thing chainsaw. What's up, guys? Matt back again here in the hang space, and today I've got my Crate G600XL, which I've owned for over 25 years. A little bit about this amplifier before I get into how I acquired it. This was built in the USA, late 80s, early 90s. It was a 60-watt solid state that features two channels, a clean and an overdrive channel. Now, I believe that there was a G60 as well that was a smaller combo amp, so this was the middle brother, and I also think there was a G1600XL, which was more powerful. Now, after I had owned this amp for a long time, in the later years, I initially thought this was the famed Cannibal Corpse crate that some people say that they use. I think it showed up in one of the videos, but this actually is not the one. I think that was the GX130C, but this amp supposedly has the same similar sound to it. It was a cheaper version of that amp, and through some other research, I did see that Scott Hall from Pig Destroyer has also used similar crates like this with that same kind of sound. Now, they're all from the same era. I did look at the gain circuit. I forget. I want to say it was the DOD circuit. I could be wrong about that. Someone that knows more could correct me on that. This amp does have the standard EQ, so your basic controls. But one cool thing is, for your gain channel, it does also feature a lead, a focus, and a sub control that kind of lets you dial it in a little bit. It also has a bright switch on it. The gain in this amp, some people really talk highly of it online, but they will sometimes criticize the clean channel and say it's kind of lacking headroom. It's just not very great. I don't remember. I have not actually played this head in a long time. It's been sitting up in my attic for maybe 10 years. But the one cool thing about this amp is you can pick these things up online. I found numerous examples, anywhere from the $100, $150, $200 range. I've seen some go more. Now, I don't know if I'd pay that for it unless it was an absolute pristine condition. You know, for $200, from what I remember about this thing, it sounds pretty decent. Now, like I said, I haven't actually had this amp fired up in a long time. I remember the last time I plugged it in, some of the issues it had, but we'll get into sort of what the plan's going to be for this amp in a little bit. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure, I know I've owned this amp for at least 25 years. Now, my dad worked with a woman whose husband used to play in some bands, and he had since gotten out of it. And the only lead that I had gotten was that he had an amplifier, so he thought I might be interested. I didn't know what to expect. He told me it was a crate. That's all I really knew. And when we showed up and got to his basement, there it was, a complete crate, full stack.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
So, I mean, it had the head. It had both matching 4x12 cabs. It was in awesome shape, and we snagged it. I wish I could remember how much we paid for it, but I know it wasn't much. I don't think it was more than $150. I still have everything. I have the head, I have both cabs, slant 4x12 and a straight-faced 4x12. The 4x12s themselves, I know that some of them came with Celestions and some of them came with cheaper version speakers. Now, mine did come with the cheaper version speakers, but I used that amp for a long time. I can't even tell you the amount of shows that I played with this head and that combo, both as a full stack and also just as the 4x12. I ended up loaning out the other half cab, or the other bottom 4x12, to my other guitar player for a while. So we both had those on stage. I think I can probably dig up, maybe find a picture of those amps on stage, but It was a while. That was back before we all had phones and computers and everything in our pocket to record everything. But it sounded great. And honestly, those cabs I still use to this day. Now, the one 4x12, I did swap out the speakers. The slant cab now has 2 Texas Heats and 2 Swamp Things, Eminent speakers in it. Right now, the 4x12 slant is here, and the other one is up at practice. And that's the one that has the original speakers in it. And I run my EVH through it, and it honestly sounds great. I mean, the things are rugged. They got beat. I abused them. I was a kid. So if we're just taking a quick glance at this thing, if you're astute to these amplifiers, you'll know that this should be cloth. Now, at some point before I really made a stupid decision, I decided that this whole front needed to be covered in stickers. So I ripped off all the cloth on the front, and this whole faceplate was basically completely covered in stickers at one time. And it looked cool, but that wasn't the worst that I did to this amp. I had ordered a 4x12 sized case. It was a live-in head case that also had some rack space above it. It was the cheapest piece of crap that I could find. I want to say I was maybe 16, and when it showed up, the head didn't fit. So what did I decide to do? I decided to completely remove the rack out of the head case, the face out of the head case, and take a grinding wheel to them.
It's pretty low, mister. If I had a rubber hose, I would beat you.
So I ended up cutting off the corners of the rack, and I shortened the faceplate to fit in the live-in case. So of course, eventually I pulled everything back out of it. I threw the case on a bonfire, and now it looks like this. I mean, you can see that there's spaces here, there's spaces on both sides. It just doesn't look that great anymore. I also at some point lost this corner piece. It's also missing the handle. I think I know where that is, so I'm gonna have to go dig that up. When I last had this plugged in, it definitely had some scratchy pots. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in there. I'm gonna pull the frame out. We're gonna take a look at the inside and see if I can see anything. Now, I will say as a disclaimer, any electronic equipment contains capacitors. Capacitors store voltage. Now, I did not plug this in since I brought it down. It's been sitting upstairs for a long time. Hopefully any juice that would still be in it would bleed off. But those capacitors can store a lot of voltage, and you do not want to touch the electronics unless you want your hair to stand straight up like Wayne Static. I do have some contact cleaner that I'm going to go ahead and clean up the pots and just do some basic maintenance on it. But I also got a couple plans for this thing to maybe make it look a little cooler. Because if you've been watching this channel and you've seen any of my other stuff, I cannot leave anything untouched. And since this amplifier is already hacked up, might as well try to hack it up a little more and make it a little cooler. So what I'm going to do is start by just generally disassembling this amp. We're going to pull it apart and we'll take a look at it from there. But first, I want you guys to go ahead and check this out. Oh, hello again. You know, I'd like to take a second to thank each one of you who's liked, watched, subscribed, everything to this channel. Any little bit of support goes a long way in keeping this stuff coming. I can't thank everyone enough, and if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and help me out by doing so. If you'd like to support the channel even further, there'll be a link in the bio of this video where you can get on and directly support the things that I'm doing here so I can make sure to bring more content like this to you. Aha. You rapscallion. All right, so like I said, let's go ahead and get this thing ripped apart. I don't think it's gonna take that long. It's really not that difficult to disassemble. There's not too many components. So we'll go ahead and break into it and then we'll take a look at it. Here's that built-in reverb I was talking about. Usually solid states, or I think tube amps too. I had a B52 that had a built-in reverb. It's similar. I'm not 100% sure how they actually work, but I know that they're boxes with springs in them. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and pull these two plugs, and we'll get into that. Before I do that, I don't know if it matters, but I'm gonna go ahead and put little marks on this so I know which plug goes to which. Pretty cool. It's like a little shock-mounted tray on springs with other springs on the inside. And try to take a look at it here. All right, and there we are. You can see super small little circuit board, not big at all. Two little boards in there. Everything looks pretty good. There's some dirt in here. I might wipe it out a little bit. I do see maybe some buildup on whatever the hell these things are, these ceramic jobbies. But I'm not noticing anything right off the bat that looks crazy, that's screaming for attention. I think what I'm gonna do here, I'll get the actual case out of the way, and we'll set it down, and I'll take a closer look at it. So I moved my camera around a little bit to hopefully give you guys a better view of what's going on here. Like I said, you can see the two boards there. I do see some white there. I don't know if that's normal or not. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm gonna get down and we'll take a closer look. And like I said, I do have some contact cleaner. And I think what I'll do is I'll start by going ahead and maybe just spraying them in there. And we'll see how that goes. Now, one thing that's a bummer is this is missing a lot of the knobs. Now, it came with these real cool, kind of old school knobs. If the camera focuses there or not. They're actually like two-piece. The color will come out of the knob itself. They're really hard to find. I did look around a little bit. Some people have them. I actually shopped around a little just locally and tried to find some that would work, and all the hardware stores wanted way more than I was willing to pay for something like this. So that's just something that maybe in the future I'll have to keep my eye open. So we got all that done. Like I said, I've kind of just a general inspection. I'm looking for anything that looks loose, anything that looks corroded. I'm not seeing it. Like I said, although this thing did stay in an attic, it's a dry attic. It's not climate controlled, so it gets hot and warm, but you know, I don't see anything that looks rusty. Everything looks kind of fine, and I know that this thing does work. How well it works has yet to be seen. But I think that's all I got for this step right now. The next plan is going to be to meet me in my shop, and we'll go from there. I'm going to warn you slightly, the audio quality might not quite be the same because I don't really have the means to record myself out there this well yet. But hopefully you'll just bear with me, and I'll try to keep my talking to a minimum, keep it mostly work, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I went ahead and I did some measuring last night so I could kind of streamline this a little bit and make sure I get this video done. But what we got is we're going to make a new faceplate for this. Now I went ahead and picked up this extruded metal piece. I got this at the hardware store. I think it was like 24 bucks. Unfortunately it's a little short, but this is going to work out perfect because the sides where it doesn't match is also where those corners are missing out of the frame of the amplifier. So I'm going to get a little inventive. I'm going to take the old faceplate, which I don't need anymore, that has this nice rolled over edge, and I'm actually going to cut some little pieces that'll fit down inside here on either side. They're going to fill up where this isn't. They're going to look almost like they were supposed to be there if you didn't know any better. And to take it a step farther, I'm also going to go ahead and pull the old Tolex out of the back piece. Now, I don't really care about it being in the back. You're not really going to see it, but the front's a little more important. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this stuff off, and once I get these corners cut, I'm going to rewrap it with the original material, put those pieces in, and you'll really never be able to tell anything. So I'm pretty stoked. I think this is going to look really cool. I know it's a little empty in here, but I got a couple ideas that once we get this thing done and all the parts cut out, the faceplate painted, I'm going to go ahead and take everything back inside to my other shop, my studio, and put it back together. So hopefully the audio is not too bad. I know it's a little weird being out here, but I kind of need to cut and make some noise and grind and get dirty. So let's get to it. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but I went ahead and I marked the center on this. I marked the center on the amp. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this down to size to fit what I need in here. Again, it's already marked. So I'm just going to go ahead, take my 4.5-inch cutter and get to that. Alright, I got this in here. Measurements I got are pretty good. I might need to just grind it up and clean it up. But that's about what I wanted. Now, I almost lost my mind because initially I put this in and I went on the back. I was like, oh my god, how did you cut this so short? But once I flipped it around with this extra lip on the front, that's kind of what we're shooting for. So like I said, my next step is going to be to go ahead and cut these side pieces, which I had pre-measured. I got the piece over there. Now I'm going to have to pull a whole bunch of staples on it because that's how the original cloth on that faceplate was. And I'm going to need to take circular saw to it. So I got to get those staples out and cleaned up. Once I get that done, then I'll go ahead and try to get it fitted in there a little better and go from there. My main thing I'm going to do right now though is I want to get this piece cleaned up and painted. By the time this thing dries, hopefully I can just get it going and just keep this thing moving right along.
A few moments later. 2,000 years later.
Now you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I got the side pieces cut and installed. They fit pretty good. I might have to take a little sanding to them because I think once I put the Tolex on them, they might be a little tight. But I mean, I think this is going to work great. By the time I get the metal piece in here, it should tuck basically right in behind these. I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe add a little piece up here just to put an extra screw in for support, just because. And the one thing I will have to do then here in a bit is go ahead and mount the spring reverb to the top of the amplifier since it can't go on the faceplate anymore. I'm not sure if that's okay. I think it is, but I really don't care. Even if I were to use this amp for something, I'm most likely not going to be using the spring reverb, so that's fine with me. But man, it's coming together. I think it's gonna work. All right, we're making good progress. I got the pieces cut. I got the glue drying on the Tolex. I got paint on the metal screen. I did put some undercoating on the back piece to cover up where I peeled off the Tolex. So while that stuff dries up a little bit, I'm at least going to try to take the frame and the case of the head, and I'm just going to put some stuff on it, maybe try to scrub it all, see if I can clean it up a little bit. Maybe someday I'll get into like recovering it or something like that, but for now, I'm not really worried about it. I think mods I'm making are going to make it look cool enough, so let's give it a shot. Alright guys, I think we are about finished up out here in the shop. Like I said, I got the faceplate is cut to fit. That seems like it's going to work out good. I got the back plate all sprayed down with some undercoatings to make it black again, so that's ready to go. My side pieces are all dried up, trimmed to fit. So I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and grab all this stuff, head back up into the studio, hit my dog grooming table / workbench, and we'll start putting this thing back together and see if it actually works. See if this is all for nothing, because I have not plugged it in. I thought that would be sort of fun. I mean, you might see me fail here, which I guess that's cool too. I hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, we're gonna go in, we're gonna shoot this thing out, and we're gonna see if this amp will give us that chainsaw sound. That's kind of what the whole premise of this video has been about, so let's go find out. All right, we are back inside. I am back all set up and ready to put this thing back together. As you can see right now, it's pretty empty in there, but I got my parts. I got the 2 side pieces here, covered, glued up, ready to go in. I got the new faceplate here, all painted, ready to go in. I did manage to find the handle upstairs in the attic for it. Now I looked for that other corner briefly, but I couldn't find it. Maybe I'll keep looking around. It's got to be around here somewhere. I did find a dead bat though.
I thought my jokes were bad.
So that's always cool. So anyways, for now, before I go into the one final thing I'm going to do to this, I am going to go ahead and try to get this thing tied up and back together, get the faceplate mounted, get the side pieces on, the handle in. Right now the frame is just kind of sitting in there. I got brand new hardware to install that. The other thing I managed to do was I got the reverb mounted up here on the top, spring reverb box. So that should work out fine. Wires all stretched there. So once I get the frame in, I'll go ahead and get that reconnected. And yeah, then we'll move on and see if this thing works. Right, we got the faceplate back on, we got the nameplate on, we got the side pieces in. There's a little few details that I'll have to polish up and kind of clean up later. But for now, not worried about it. I think it's coming out good. Now, the last thing that an open-faced amp needs, of course,
You know I'm terrible at waiting for things.
are some LED lights. Now these are the same Monster Smart lights that I put on my pedal board. If you watched that video, you would have seen these and how cool they look. If you didn't watch that video, go ahead and click the link, go back, check that video out too. That was a pretty cool one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these put in as best I can. I'll kind of show you guys that process a little bit. And then the next time when I'm talking to you, we'll be over there by the cab when we turn this thing on for the first time and see if it's actually gonna work. Alright, so full disclosure here, as you can see, this amp was way more together a little bit ago. Well, I plugged it in and I went to test it and it worked for a little bit and then it quit. So I did a little research online and saw that these amps are definitely subject to cold solder joints. Now I really did not want to break into it this much, but I thought I'd at least take a look. And what I found, you probably might have a hard time seeing, right there are a bunch of broken solder joints. Now I don't think this is my main problem. It could be. I believe my main problem might actually be over here on my power side because the outputs are very loosey-goosey in there. So I broke out the soldering iron and I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix up these joints and very carefully pull the power section out and try to fix them. Now, like I said, don't take my advice, don't attempt this on your own unless you feel at least somewhat confident. I'm a little sketched, but I think I can do this pretty carefully. I kind of know what I'm doing, so if you see the end of this video, I survived. Alright, and here we are, finally. I will say this amp fought me a lot when I got into the board. Every single solder joint on both the speaker outputs and the instrument inputs were broken. So this thing, I don't even know how many. Each input has about 6 solder joints. They were all toast. So I had to go in and solder them all up. Once I did that, it did power on. And it's working decent. I will say there are some things I still got to look at. I'm having some volume fluctuations sometimes. So I'll have to pull it back apart. I don't know, recheck the joints that I resoldered. Maybe check out the volume pots on it and things like that and make sure that everything's working. Maybe even the jacks themselves and the contacts. But for the purpose of this video, and to see if this thing will chainsaw at all, I think it'll work good enough. I didn't want to leave you on an empty note and not at least get this project done without hearing it. So you can see I got the LEDs working. They look pretty sick. Now it's just one color. Like I said in my pedal video, you can see this thing does all kinds of stuff. You can connect it to your phone. You can change multiple colors. It'll dance to music. Does all kinds of wacky things. But for now, I just put it on green because I think it looks cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and hit the switch. I think I kind of just have everything down and not really. I'm hopefully get a chance to play with some of this and adjust some things, but you know, we'll kind of see what happens here. Hopefully the amp cooperates. All right, at least we're making some noise. So I got the gain all the way up on it. Let's kind of see where we're at. And I'll turn the sub up a little bit. Focus and lead. Lead's kind of, I guess, like your treble. Focus is kind of like a mid. It really scoops it out. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to play mostly with this focus so you can kind of hear how that sounds. Ooh, there we're talking. I gotta say, that's kind of the sound we were looking for, right? I mean... I'm going to go ahead and crank this focus the other way a little. So there we got it about the 12 o'clock position. Let's go ahead and turn on this reverb a little bit, see if we can actually hear a difference. All right, full cranked. I mean, that sounds really good, right? I'm actually kind of stoked on this thing. I'm hoping it's not really doing it right there. It was kind of dipping in and out of volume a little bit on me before. But, yeah, I mean, the reverb even sounds pretty cool. I do actually have the foot switch for it, the original foot switch. I tried to hook that up. That wasn't quite working for me. I probably have to open the foot switch up and play with the contacts. But that thing's cool as well because that allows you to turn the reverb on and off without using the dial. and obviously also changes your channels. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop this thing back and see if we get a little more of that chainsaw grunt out of it, and then I'll go ahead and switch over to the clean channel and let you hear a little bit of that. We'll go all the way. Yeah, I'm digging it. All right, so let's check out this clean channel. Oh, little scratchy pot still. Still got the reverb on, I just realized, so. You know, honestly, I saw a lot of people say that the clean didn't sound good on this thing. To me, it doesn't sound that bad. It's not the best clean I ever had. Obviously, my EVH has a great clean sound, but I mean, for a solid state amplifier, try that bright switch, see if that works. Oh, that was the bright switch on, so we'll turn the bright off and see. Oh, the mids all the way up. Let's turn that back a little there. You probably can't tell in the video. Let's listen back, but this thing, I mean, that sub, that low end coming out of this on that clean channel, that sounds great. It's just reverberating. Now, this cab does have the Omened speakers in it. This isn't the original speakers. I wish I could tell you which speaker I'm mic'd up to. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's either the Swamp Thing or the Texas Heat. They're X patterned in this cab. I don't remember which one's which. Going off of my memory, it's been a long time. But ultimately, I mean, how cool. This thing's cleaned up. These little side pieces look great. The mesh, the in there looks great. The LEDs really make that logo pop. I mean, yeah, this thing's gonna stick around. You might see this thing again in some other videos. So, all right, I guess that'll do it for now. But to answer your question, will it chainsaw? I say, hell yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me go over this amp. And I mean, for what, 30 plus year amp? It sounds pretty damn good. It's definitely gonna be sticking around in my studio here, and I'll probably be messing with it, playing it, tweaking it. Like I said, not having this corner's bugging me. I'm gonna look for one of them. I think I'm gonna look for some new knobs for it. And yeah, just treat it a little better. So, like I said, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe to this videos. I'm trying to do one kind of gear something review related video every other week, and then in between that, one cover video. So make sure to check out those as well. I put a lot of time into them. It's pretty much as much time as I put into this, just in a different way. So definitely check that stuff out, and I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, stay metal.